MAGA Republicans are still trying to do everything they can to cover up for and sane wash the threat that Donald Trump made against Liz Cheney's life the other night at an interview with Tucker Carlson in Arizona. And one Republican who went out of his way to try to do this, maybe the most dishonest of them all, was Lindsey Graham, who appeared on Fox in a state of desperation and was swearing at Liz Cheney because he is so upset with her and so upset with the state of the race. Lindsey Graham was crumbling in his appearance on Fox. It was an absolute nightmare for him and for Donald Trump, and we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you want to support our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. Now, before we get into Lindsey Graham's meltdown, I want to see Jake Tapper shut down a different MAGA senator's defense of this disgusting attack on Liz Cheney in this clip right here.
I mean, we've seen Mr. Trump's campaign putting out press releases trying to clarify what he said. Mr. Trump put out a Truth Social statement. He just said something about this. Obviously, whether or not everybody hears the message. And, we ran the clip. We ran the whole clip. And we're not saying he's calling for her to be assassinated or killed. I think the issue is the very violent imagery at a time when Republicans are saying, oh, Democrats need to tone down the rhetoric. Are you worried at all politically that, this is going to be decided by a handful of voters in a handful of states, that this could hurt?
Let me just say this, Jake. War is serious. War is deadly. He was making that point with this analogy. I think that's what's here. That's the point here. What we're talking about, though, is the fact that President Trump is actually winning. Voters would much prefer to hear about what Kamala Harris's position is on the economy, what she's going to do to fix our broken southern border, to take crime in our streets down, to make our nation more safe and secure. Rather than talk about that, we're going to blow up yet another one of these stories into some sort of pre-election day hoax. I think we should move on.
I don't know how you define hoax. This is nothing a hoax. We ran his clip, and there are people who are legitimately offended by that. And
it's a distortion, Jake. This is a distortion.
I ran the entire quote, Senator. We ran the entire thing.
Yeah, this is a distortion about violence, and the violence he's talking about is the violence that's perpetrated on our men and women in service, and the decisions that are made by people like Liz Cheney to send them into the throes.
Liz Cheney was an assistant secretary of state. When did she send anyone into battle?
I think President Trump is making a broad statement and using her as an example of the war hawks in Washington that make these decisions from the comfort of an office, perhaps not taking into account the fact that there are very serious consequences. Those consequences are realized by those people that are in the foxhole, those people that are actually in combat situations. That's what he was illustrating, and nothing more.
So you think that anyone that takes issue with him invoking, let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her when the gun's trained on her face, you think anyone that takes issue with that is either perpetrating or falling victim to a hoax? There's no one that can legitimately say
what I'm saying, Jake, is this
violent
is a distortion.
imagery at a time. What's a distortion? I read that we played the whole clip.
This is a distortion of this is a distortion of what President Trump meant, and you know it. President Trump wasn't calling for any type of violence on Liz Cheney.
I didn't say he was.
What he was talking about was her to consider the violence that anybody that we put into that circumstance might face. It's as simple as that. We need to get back to talking about the fact that President Trump is the only person that's on the ballot that can actually fix the damage that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have done over the past 4 years. And all of this talk on the campaign trail by Kamala Harris about what she's going to do, well, she hasn't done it. President Trump already has. People are asking themselves this basic question: am I better off today under Kamala Harris than I was under President Trump? That's why he's moving in the polls the way he is. That's why they're so desperate right now to come up with this stuff.
So, yeah, I mean, that's what I heard from Democrats the other day when we were playing how Joe Biden called Trump supporters garbage. I got the same response back that this is all nonsense. It's a distraction. We're not covering the real issues. It's the closing days of the campaign. If people say stupid things, we're going to cover it. But you didn't say it, Senator. So I hope you come back and we can talk about some substantive issues after.
No, thanks for having me. Yes.
After the election, and it's good to see you. And
let's get to the important issues.
God bless on that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. As the nation comes up on the final days of early voting, we're talking.
They are really doing everything they possibly can to try to sane wash Donald Trump, to try to make excuses, to try to pit this on Liz Cheney. What did she do wrong? I can't even come up with some argument that they're trying to make here. It is just utter nonsense. And you can see how nonsensical and dishonest Lindsey Graham trying to flip this on Liz Cheney is, trying to say that she abandoned the conservative movement because she wants to conserve democracy. That seems pretty in line with what you would want to do, not just abandon all your values like you have, Lindsey, spineless individual. But we don't need to hear my thoughts on Lindsey. We want to see a meltdown. So let's check out this clip right here.
To Liz Cheney, she is selling out conservatism to stay relevant. She got waxed in Wyoming, got defeated like a drum, beat like a drum, and she's campaigning with Kamala Harris. You're telling me you're pro-life and you want this lady to be president who believes in abortion up to the moment of birth? You're telling me you believe in a strong military when she advocated getting out of Afghanistan, the last person in the room with Biden? You're telling me you believe in energy independence and you want her to be president, stopping oil and gas drilling? So Liz Cheney, don't listen to her. She's selling out conservatism to stay relevant. She's not relevant in terms of conservatism. She no longer has a voice. As to the Senate, they're trying to destroy Tim Sheehy now, who's leading in Montana, a certified war hero, Navy SEAL, wounded, Purple Heart, Bronze Star with Valor. They're accusing him of lying about his military record, the racist tightening. Please send money through my website, lindseygraham.com. All the money goes to Tim Sheehy to be the 51st senator to get us back the Senate. He's from Montana. They're trying to destroy him like they did Kavanaugh. Help me help Tim Sheehy get us the Republican majority. Tell every friend you got, if you don't have a friend, go make one, to get them out to the polls. Here's the good news. Kavanaugh won. Trump's going to win. We're going to win the Senate. We're going to push through all this bullshit. And I'm not going to listen to anything she has to say, Liz Cheney. We're not garbage as Trump supporters, and women who support Trump are not dumb garbage. So all I can say, folks, this is the election of a lifetime. Liz Cheney is campaigning for Democrats to take back the House. She endorsed Mike Rogers' opponent in Michigan. She endorsed the Democrat to help Democrats take back the Senate. Don't listen to words she says.
So as you can see, Lindsey Graham says that he's not going to put up with any of Liz Cheney's bullshit, and he's not going to have to deal with it. He's going to push through it. He was just kind of desperate, begging for donations to make sure that Republicans can try to flip the Senate, something we absolutely cannot allow. And you can just tell how panicked he is about this backfiring on Donald Trump, as it already has, but the rest of the Republicans down ballot in this race. And it continues to be a topic of conversation, really just showing off Donald Trump's fascistic tendencies. And that is why Jim Acosta shut down a MAGA Republican's defense of it as well on his show. And let's check that out.
You don't want Liz Cheney. Yeah, but you don't want Liz Cheney to be shot. I mean, he should not be saying that Liz Cheney should be sent off in a situation where she should be shot. I mean, can't we just all agree that that's out of bounds?
I hope nobody gets shot, but under this administration, unfortunately, we've been in a lot of wars, and we weren't in very many under Trump. And I think so that's clearly a deflection on their part. They're seizing upon everything. This is no issue that will decide anything. It just allows Liz Cheney to get up and sell more books and be more critical of the Trump administration.
Yeah, but it's the former president. It's Trump who's saying this. I mean, I just can't imagine what the outcry would be if the roles were reversed. I mean, I just, to me, Congressman, and you and I had lots of discussions.
Well, Mark Cuban says.
Why not say he? Why not say he shouldn't say these sorts of things?
About Republican women being stupid, yet you have people like Tulsi Gabbard and Riley Gaines, people like that are strong, very intelligent women that get out front, yet they're criticized, but I don't hear CNN criticizing him. So
Mark Cuban is not running. He's not running for president. This is Donald Trump saying that Liz Cheney should be fired upon. And it just seems to me, sitting in front of the American flag, Congressman, with all due respect, I mean, to me, at what point does a Republican member of Congress call out Trump for this kind of language? I just don't get it. At some point, doesn't any of this matter? Isn't this important that a candidate for president is saying that Liz Cheney should be shot right before an election? I just don't. I respect you, Congressman. You and I have had lots of conversations. I just don't get it. It's outrageous.
More sane washing and covering Donald Trump's ass from these MAGA Republicans. It is so sad and so spineless of them. I don't know how they do these interviews without spines. Are they taped to the back of their chair? They're doing anything that they possibly can to cover up these comments because they know how damaging they are, especially in the final days of this campaign. And we did have to endure Lindsey Graham on Fox, and we did have to endure a little more MAGA than I'd like to this early in the morning. And so I think it is only right that if we heard from Lindsey Graham on Fox, we hear from the only person we'd like to hear from on Fox. And that's Jessica Tarloff right here.
But if you are running in a general election and it's the economy stupid and has been the entire time, why are you talking about trans issues as your number one issue? The other thing that keeps sticking out to me as very strange, and maybe someone has the answer, is why are there so many reports of missing ground game on the part of the Republicans? Out of parts of Arizona, out of parts of Michigan, in Pennsylvania, the Democrats have knocked on 13 million doors across the battleground states, and in October alone made 100 million phone calls from their phone banking. You don't hear that, and then you see like Charlie Kirk losing his mind during one of his telecasts or YouTube casts. I don't know what the right term of it is. And he says, what is going on? All these women are voting on top of it. I think the early vote's been 54% female on top of it. But where's the game? I thought Charlie Kirk was going to be delivering that.
Well, what you didn't know, Jessica,
What
is
I
they
didn't
may
know?
have maybe knocked
There's
on
some
13
mosquito
million
in
doors,
here.
but 12 million people shut them in your face.
That's really not true. Have you seen the footage of the conversations?
Have you seen the Ring camera footage, Jessica? Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. You're throwing a lot of stuff out here. No one cares about Marist. Marist was dead wrong in the last election, and I bet they
What have you
will
got me?
again.
Are you getting me
too.
Big Village or the guy
I'm
with the bow
asking this
tie?
woman, what is your first thing you're going to do on the job, executive action, and she can't name it.
It's so funny to me that you hear Jesse there at the end try to interrupt Jessica, saying that Kamala Harris hasn't expanded upon the actions that she wants to take to stop price gouging, to build more homes, to invest in our economy, invest in American manufacturing, American infrastructure. And Donald Trump's plan is what? To scream tariff as loud as he possibly can? No, Jesse. It is the media who does not ask further questions of Donald Trump, who lets him get away without having policy substance or really any knowledge or the ability to get through a sentence at this point. It is you who are the one with a bias, Jesse, a bias that we will continue to call out every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.